Well, the seeds of what eventually grew into the Wood County Economic Development Commission started 40 years ago. Al Baldwin sent me over to Fremont to talk to Neil McCabe, who was the vice president of WSOS, and he said the Private Industry Council has JTPA funding to be able to create an economic development network for Wood County to eventually build some expansion for businesses that are there. Do you want to do that? And I said, yeah, I'll give it a try. And sure enough, I find out from the Ohio Department of Development in 1985 that the three pillars of economic development, from their point of view, were global investment, workforce development, and quality of life. And that was pretty much what I told Mr. Zanoli at the Private Industry Council that I was into. So I picked up the ball and started running with it. I teamed up with the Bowling Green State University Department of Continuing Education. So I had put together a number of, we called them workshops, to publicize economic development incentive programs that the state of Ohio had that would help businesses expand. And the purpose was to try to identify co-beneficiaries of the economic development process. This, for example, would be a bank that would want to loan money to a business to expand, a construction company that would want to help a business build a 1 million square foot factory, a real estate broker that would want to sell 50 acres to a company that's putting up a big factory. And these were people that, if we did a good job of economic development, they'd make money off of it as well. 1993, we got word that the Job Training Partnership Act money was going to run out. A couple of these co-beneficiaries came to me and said, hey, you're doing stuff here that's helping us. We want to help you now. What can we do to help you? So Ted Green, Paul Windish, and Bob Mack got together and they went to see the county commissioners and said, we're gaining off of this effort. Our clients are gaining off of this effort, but the county's been kind of getting a free ride off of it. And is there any way the county can put money into it? We'll put money into it from the private sector. So Marilyn Baker, who was the president of the county commissioners at the time, looked at me and said, Tom, you're a pretty creative guy. Can you look into this and see if there's some way, some mechanism that the county can put money into an economic development effort? So I said, yes, ma'am, Mrs. Baker. And I walked out of that room and I thought, how are we going to do this? And they created what was then known as the County Office of Economic Development. Eventually, a couple of years later, 1995, it incorporated as the Wood County Economic Development Commission, and that's why we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of it this year. But it was very gratifying. It literally started from nothing, convinced a few people it was something that was appropriate and successful, and they then became the champions of it and convinced the commissioners that it was a good thing, and it's just been flying ever since. And I'm very proud to see the progress that it's made since then.
What we focus on a lot here is, the bigger picture stuff, but it's specific to that kind of manufacturing industrial development. So we focus on kind of higher living wage type job creation. The idea being that that kind of job creation will then engender other development, including that retail, including that housing. Those will kind of come when you bring in those wages and those salaries and those families. One of the strengths of Wood County, obviously we have the interstate highway system, right? That's a huge benefit to us. It's also the infrastructure we have in terms of water and sewer. We have Lake Erie, right? We have an abundant supply of fresh water in the county. We have a lot of power in the county. They give us access to large amounts of power at minimal cost. And then we also have the advantage of rail. There are multiple rail lines, both CSX and Norfolk Southern across the county, that have access to rail points. To get that initial interest, you have to have the things they want, and Wood County has the things that a lot of companies want. Then it steps over to our end, to go out and land the project and kind of seal that deal.
The impact that Wood County Economic Development Commission is not only on companies that are here in Ohio and Wood County, but also with our organization. I know that I can depend on Wade and the Wood County team to bring me in for opportunities, and we all have the same mission, is to help companies create jobs, spend money here in Wood County, and grow the local economy. We've worked together for so long that we understand what each role needs and what organization needs.
The greatest thing that the Wood County Economic Development Commission has given Wood County was a collecting point for all the different stakeholders where folks can come together and work together toward common goal. I think we were known for that in Wood County, that we're a pretty friendly place to do business and execute projects because we work together. Well, we work together because of what the Wood County Economic Development Commission has created. We're able to capture some money, and especially for schools, so we can develop our schools, yet offer enough financial incentives for a company to live here. So I think many of the schools here have benefited greatly from the economic development, which transcends to our families, which I think that is a signature thing that we've brought to the table with the economic development.
The best thing from my perspective about the commission is it brings all parties together. They bring all the governments, they bring Port Authority, they bring the county, they bring schools into the equation. It's just been a pleasure to work in an environment where everybody's cooperative. The things that Tom and Wade have put in place work for everybody and makes it easy for them to do business here.
The quality of life for people in Wood County has been significantly improved by the Wood County Economic Development Commission, because when you have this vast tax base, it just lessens the burden of your taxes on maybe your residence or your farm or whatever the case may be, because there's such a substantial base. When you look at like $100 million plant or First Solar or FedEx Ground or Walgreens, income taxes can come and go, but when you put a building or a physical asset in the ground in Wood County, that's permanent, recurring tax income.
Through these programs, we've had tens of millions of dollars come into the district that we could use for things that we really needed. You're sitting in what is probably the nicest facility in Northwest Ohio, and that's all because of the abatement programs that we've run and that have grown throughout the years.
In the utility business, we dabble in economic development any given day of the week. There's projects that come in, they either need utilities or have a direction of a need. So we get involved either in the early siting or hopefully when it does land, we're part of the providers. The Wood County's been able to move quick and efficient, and the Economic Development Commission helps that happen. They have good focus, good idea of what our resources should be and could be, and it's just a matter of pulling them together to meet the goal.
I think the Wood County Economic Development Commission has certainly been instrumental in bringing business into the area and raising the standard of living for the workforce, and in addition have provided all kinds of opportunities for new businesses and different industries to move into our region. I think it's a regional impact that they've had, not just on just Wood County. I think there's a couple real gems here in the county, and one of them is the Pennant County Vocational High School and Owens Community College. They've provides us with a great pool of skilled talent in the machining trade that really enhances our ability to find good, qualified tradespeople.
We love being in Wood County. Many of our customers are within a couple miles of here, First Solar in particular. So a good part of our customer base is in Wood County, of course, and within our reach. And providing a good work environment without the hassles and the ease of doing business indirectly supports our team and their families, and certainly the quality of life.
The shovel-ready attitude that we offer these businesses that come into the area is very important. We have a very good workforce. We have people ready to take good, solid, well-paying, stable jobs. We are very grateful to Wade in Wood County because of all the hard work he's put in and the development of businesses and making business from the attitude that he's projected in helping them.
First Solar is actually the largest U.S. headquartered solar manufacturer in Northwest Ohio. Is the home for our largest manufacturing base. We really focus on American solar, where we use not only American manufacturing, but an American supply chain as well, and we're very proud of that to be located here in Northwest Ohio. The Wood County Economic Development Organization has allowed us to make very easy decisions. They're very easy to work with, they're proactive, they're engaging, and they listen to what the businesses need. As we continue to grow and expand, we work with them on an ongoing basis to ensure that we have the right manpower, the right incentive structure. If it wasn't for them, I think it would have been much harder to make our decisions to stay and grow in Northwest Ohio.
I would say bringing in a thriving economic environment and lots of companies and lots of attractive jobs that aren't just paychecks, they're actually careers. So we're actually bringing in really, really important roles and things that matter a lot for the country. When you think about the development of the glass and solar industries that have happened here, we're leading the nation in those areas, and that's renewable energy is very important, not just for this county, for this state, for this city, for the country. So we're seeing the types of jobs that we're bringing in here are really cutting edge. They're really things that are important that matter to the rest of the country. And people can develop and have careers here, not just jobs, but careers. And we've also got to be able to get people. And so we've got to be able to attract and make good decisions that are holistically impacted for all the companies to be successful. And so it's not just about, hey, we'll give you a place and some land and a cheap rate and here's the gas. It's a big picture. How do you actually solve all your problems and successfully run a plant here, given all the competition that we have? It feels to me like there's a really good synergy with thinking about all those things before you make a decision so that we make sure that we're set up well for long-term success.
We have the public-private partnership, and that gives us a great insight into that, and it keeps kind of everybody on the same page in terms of working together and doing what's best for the county. The process is more streamlined, and we have a lot of attributes in the county, and having people that are knowledgeable and on the board that are involved in different industries and occupations really helps out too, to have all that insight, providing feedback.
I think the greatest thing about the Wood County Way is that we all work together. It is non-political. We're pro-business. We can pick up the phone and talk to each other and solve problems. And we are willing to do what we need to do as a group for the betterment of Wood County and for the betterment of our citizens.
Every project is unique. Every project brings its own set of challenges, its own set of people. Everything's always different. And so there's always that new challenge of how are we going to solve this particular issue. And Wood County is a great place to work. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to do business in. And one of the things we've always looked at in Wood County is we want to make it very business friendly so that businesses want to be here. They want to, and that when they are here, they're going to be successful here. Because if they are, they'll continue to grow in your county. They'll continue to employ more people. They'll continue to make larger investments. And those are the kind of things that will lead ultimately to a successful county from an economic basis that allows our residents to have that high quality of life, which is really what our goal is.